Good morning, students of 2021. My name is Louis, back again. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to carry on with question A2, and this is a follow-up of my first video rather on question A1. Okay, so as I said, this is paper 5, the paper that you have just recently done a few weeks ago. I've decided to do this paper since it's still fresh on your mind. Okay, so we've got A2, and I just wanted to remind you on what the other two questions are. So for future videos that's going to follow in the next week, I'm going to discuss the rest of the paper that looks like this. We've got the section B, where we have two questions, B4 and B5. B4 more to do with development. Okay, and a few theory questions, and then B5 to do with communication skills, planometric and perspective, right? Testing you on that and also on some theory, and that I will do on our next two videos that will follow. So you have to, if you want to, subscribe, and you will then see these videos. Okay, so I'm going to continue with A2. Guys, this question is based on constructions, alright? Very simple constructions. It was really a fair paper, so let's look at this. It says there that there's 4 designs, okay, of icons are shown here. So these are the icons. You basically have to complete those icons here, and you can see that this is a little bit bigger than that. So the scale has been a little bit enlarged. But all you have to do is you just don't have to worry about scale, it's already there, okay? So the first thing we're going to look at is this email envelope, okay? And it tells you that this is an isosceles triangle, 35 millimeters down. You will find your center point here, and you can see your visual clue that tells you that this is actually in the center. And obviously the fact that they say that it's isosceles, it means that that leg should be the same as that leg. Right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to complete this line over here at the top. Okay, and then we're going to measure down 35 millimeters. So we're going to go there, 35 millimeters. Okay, and we are going to draw a line across. Okay, just a guideline. And obviously that will be a construction line. So what we will do now, just to get the middle, since it's an isosceles, we will go 45 over here, okay, because it's 90 millimeters. We go 45 millimeters, and we will now just complete that part of the envelope. Try and keep your lines consistent, okay. Lines should always be consistently the same quality line tone, alright? Just want to fix that one slightly, and there you are. That's with 2 marks, okay? The next question is the wireless. Let's do the wireless one. You can see there's a circle, and immediately you will see an angle there. The angle is a very good clue because it tells you what this angle is here. And if you take your ruler and you extend that line over there, you can actually see that it takes you to the center point, okay? And that's exactly how they have designed this icon. You can see it immediately, it actually takes you to the center. Right, so that's what we're going to do. So we will just reverse that process, and we will take our 45-degree set square. So I just need to grab my 45-degree here. And there's my 45. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line over here, 45 degree, going in this direction, and then of course in the opposite direction, 45 degree. So I've got those 2 lines. Hopefully you can all see this. Okay, let me just shift my board slightly. Alright, so now those are our parameters. Okay, so when we do our arcs here, we know that this line and that line would be our parameters, those 2 lines, okay? So now we look at measurements, all right? It tells us here, for the big circle here, right? That's where we're going to start. You cannot start here because there's no measurements indicating that. Right, you can work backwards on the measurements and you can start that, but let's just keep it simple and just start with radius 45. Alright, so we're going to draw that line 45, radius 45. So what we will do is we will take our ruler, alright, and we will just position it there and pick up the measurements from here. 45, okay, there you are, that's 45 millimeters. I will go here. Go to the center and make sure that you sort of make a little slight hole in there so that every time when you change measurements, you can just go back to the hole. It will be a little bit faster. So now you draw in the first arc. You close your compass. How many millimeters? It says here 5 millimeters smaller. So now you would go 40 millimeters, right? 40 millimeters. That's the next one. You find that little hole that you've got. So you always have to work from the same hole, all right? Otherwise, you're going to be inaccurate. Accuracy is very important. Okay, keep your lines the same tone. The next thing is you've got to jump 10 millimeters in. So I'm going to, from 40, I'm going to go 30. Okay, there's my 30 millimeters. I'm going to go to the little hole. And I'm going to draw that arc over there, and then the last one but not the least is I'm going to go 5 millimeters smaller. That will take me to 25, and I will find the hole again and draw in that arc over there. All right, so that will be my final arc. So what I'll do now is I will just take my 45 degrees, since I'm busy with my 45 degrees, and I will just close those gaps. Okay, those two there, I'm trying my best to actually keep the line tones the same, guys. Right, so that is now a completed wireless symbol. Right. Okay, so that's worth 5 marks. So I've done 2 here, I've done 5 here. Suddenly the sun is coming through, guys, and I've just got this bright light on my board, but nevertheless, let's continue. Right, nothing is going to be in our way here. Nothing is going to stop us. So this third question, which is C, the circle and hexagon, to the settings icon. Right, so there's a settings icon. It says here circle and hexagon. You can see there's the circle with diameter 40. Don't get mixed up, guys. Try and keep it consistent. You know, your radiuses, if you've got radius on a piece of paper, try and change it to radiuses. So in this particular case, this will be radius 20, all right? And of course, across 80 millimeters from this flat to that flat. Okay, so this distance here would mean that the cross flats, AC, in engineering, the expression is actually across flats, AF, okay, but this is also an acceptable acronym. So it's 80 millimeters from one flat to another flat, okay. So it means that if you've got a circle within those, they're touching every single line. If you've got a circle there, right, let's just draw in the circle. It means that if you can start off with a circle, okay, and you put 60-degree angles, tangents, touching the circles on either side, it means that you've got your hexagon. Right, so basically I'm going to look at a radius of 40 here, right? Radius of 40, so that adds up to 80 millimeters. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right? So I'm going to go and I'm going to take 40 millimeters here. I'm going to take 40 millimeters. The sun is really bright here, guys, but it's okay. So again, I go to the center and I will draw my circle. And you can now clearly see, since the sun is so bright on this, you can clearly see the circle. Right, so our properties working with a hexagon, we know that we were going to work with 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Okay, in this particular case, we're going to start off with this line here, this tangent here. And now I've just got to be careful for the shadows here. I'm going to draw a line over there, a 60-degree line over here, and a 60-degree line on the opposite line, on the opposite side. I flip my triangle. I go 60-degree here as well, and I go 60-degree here. Okay, and they should meet on that line over there. And now I just complete the top with a horizontal line, and now I'm starting to darken the lines. Okay, since I've got my parameters, I can now just finish it off by darkening those lines. Oops. $60. Okay, not the best, but it's fine. 60 and a 60. Right, guys, so you can see, if you can use your instruments properly, you would be able to do that kind of thing. Right, so then the last thing to do is to add that radius 20, the circle that we've got here. We just put that in there. So we mark off 20 millimeters here, 20 millimeters on our compass. That's 20 millimeters, okay, and I just transfer that 20 over here. Find my little hole that I've created, and now I just draw my circle, radius 20. Okay, and you can see it's 40 millimeters. That's exactly diameter 40 there, and that's exactly what I wanted. Okay, that's with 4 marks. All right, done. The last question, guys, is an ellipse. Okay, so let's look at this ellipse. Okay, so the first thing we look at is there any measurements? Yes, there is measurements. It says the ellipse 90 millimeters for the major axis, 60 millimeters for the minor axis. Major axis, as you know, it's always the longer end. So if the major axis is, that axis there is 90, okay, so that's 90 millimeters. Our radius would be 45. The minor axis is across the short way, right? So that's 60 millimeters. So therefore the radius for that would be 30 millimeters. Okay, so the radius there is 30 millimeters, because we need to get to the center. And remember, it's a concentric circle method, so we have 2 circles to start off with. Okay, so now we're going to go 30 millimeters. We're going to start off with the minor axis, 30 millimeters. Here we go, and there's the sun also going. Now it's a little bit better. Okay, we go to the center, create a center point with a little hole in there, and that's our first circle. Right. The second circle, which is the major axis, would be radius 45. Since the major axis is 90, our radius is half, which is 45. Look for the little hole and then draw the circle. Okay, so we've got that. Now the next thing is obviously to apply our method, which is our concentric circle method, and we're going to divide this circle, or both those circles rather, into 12 equal divisions. All right, by means of a 60 degrees and 30 degrees. So I just go there, slide it across, not wasting time, and I do my 30 degrees here. Again, now I flip it. I draw my 60 degree here, and then of course a 30 degrees over here. Okay guys, since I've got all my points now, there's 12 points, I'm going to take the outside points, I'm going to draw vertical lines from those. Down, and from this one down, vertical. Vertical here, vertical there. Okay. Vertical from that point, vertical from that point, and from that there, vertical, vertical. Alright. Try and keep your lines consistent. And then from the smaller points, all these smallest, from this circle, all the points here, okay, right around, I'm going to go horizontal. So horizontal lines for that point. Okay, and now it leaves us, obviously that's our maximum point at the top, it leaves us these points to join up with each other. Right, so these are the plotted points or the calculated points, and I'm going to join these points now either with a flexi curve or I will do it freehand. Okay, so the way I usually work is, in this particular case, I'm not going to use the flexi curve. I'm going to do it freehand because it's not always available. So basically just always from left to right, and I position my board, I turn my board in such that I can actually find it easier to do. So I go and I join sort of that quarter first. And you can see I'm trying to keep the lines consistently the same, okay? So then from here I'm going to go and join that. I know it's not always easy guys, but just try your best. And I can see here, I've already, you see here, I have actually went out a little bit too much. So I should have just kept that line over there. Okay, it's not always perfect. Don't expect that you can draw perfect drawings guys. Just do your best and you will get your marks, okay? And then of course I'm going to go from here through that point, okay? And guys, now we get to this point here where we just have to continue with this point going there. Okay, I'm just going to do it light first. Okay, and you can see here, that's what I should have done right from the beginning, as a matter of fact. You can see that it actually works exactly perfectly, that it will meet these points here. And I just skip that area. And there you are, that's it. Just want to rub out this line here slightly, just want to make it, just want to tidy this one up. Because okay guys, there you are, that's my ellipse. Okay, that's worth 6 marks, and you can see it's worth more marks because there's a lot of construction involved, and then of course the freehand of that ellipse is not that easy, but it's doable. Alright, so the last question guys before we end up with this video is a 3 here. It says you explain one reason why icons are used to show the apps on the mobile phone instead of the written words. So the actual emphasis here is to show the apps and written words. What's the difference here? Okay, now you immediately think of people that can actually that's illiterate. Okay, that's illiterate, so they wouldn't be able to read most of these. If it was in word form, it's too long. I mean, it's gonna, where you're gonna find space to explain a wireless. Okay, so people that can see it immediately, they will understand. So it's for the illiterate. All right, so I'm just going to put here, it's for people that cannot read. Okay, like the illiterate. Okay, so it's for like the illiterate. And then I think secondly, it's to catch, it's eye-catchy. If you've got all these icons. And I would say it's also for youngsters. I mean, if I talk about youngsters that cannot read, I mean, they can only start reading around about from year 6, on the age of 6 years. So for the people that, like kids, that cannot read, right, I would say young people. Young people, okay, yeah, all right, so it's for young people that cannot read, between the ages of, let's say, 1, and you get clever people, clever kids, between 1 year old and, let's say, 5 year olds, they cannot read at this point in time. Okay, so for youngsters and for people that cannot read, which is the illiterate. Okay, guys, that's our last question on question A2 in section A. Until next time, if you like this, just give me a like there and subscribe, because there's still another video to follow, and that will be section B that I will discuss. I will discuss both of those questions, B4 and B5. Until next time, keep on the lookout for my videos, okay? Bye-bye.